In this video, we will be showcasing optional espresso machine features that can simplify the brewing process and help baristas manage their daily tasks. If you're just starting out and searching for your first espresso machine, be sure to stay tuned.
So a big feature to consider is shot timers. And shot timers, because whenever we're brewing espresso, we're looking to brew our espresso within a parameter of time. And generally that can be 20 to 25 seconds or 25 to 30 seconds or 30 to 35 seconds to whatever your brewing parameter is. And obviously a shot timer that's automatic on the machine is much easier than you starting a timer as you start the brew. And so generally shot timers will be on machines that have digital displays. Not all of them, like the La Marzocco, the new Linea S comes with shot timers in the brewing, but they do not have a digital display. Another feature, obviously, is the digital display. That's just a lot of times those are nice. It gives you more functionality as far as automatic cleaning, ease of going in and making adjustments. Some machines will actually have stored where you can store different saved menu items or for you know, your particular coffee that you're brewing for the day, or if you have multiple coffees that you're brewing and different parameters set for that, it makes it easy to go in and just select what you want to do with that. Another feature is if you want automatic steam wands. So automatic steam wand is automatically shutting off at temperature. And then of course they also can have a automatic frothing too. So you can program in there how much you want it to froth if you're not the one who wants to be frothing at all. Generally lattes, you're going to do very little frothing. And of course, cappuccinos, you have a lot of frothing. So these are another
What's
thing
a
on a
what's a
traditional machine is, go ahead.
what's a benefit to having a heating and frothing wands?
Well, obviously with temperature shut off, it's consistent. So we had one of our big clients went to this because what they found was in some of their stands, people and different baristas were heating to 150 degrees, and the other stand would go to 165. And so all of a sudden you had customers complaining, hey, either it's too hot or it's too cold, or so therefore, if you just have a set parameter, then it's consistent everywhere you go. And then that customer, they also have other temperature settings. So that customer say, well, I like mine extra hot. And they do have that feature as well to heat it up to 170. So that's the benefit of that. Also, with the frothing, the benefit is less training. However, sometimes you're really limited to on how many programming sets you can. Like some machines only have one programming for the button. So you can only set it for one heating temperature and one if it does have a frothing availability, that one set. Other machines might have multiple, or when you get into super automatics now, that range opens wide open to a lot of them have gone to display screen, touch screens, which really enables us to program a lot. And a lot of times you would do that, especially for different types of milk. Another thing with traditional machines is group height. Some manufacturers will give you an option if you want a traditional group height with this lower group height, with basically you're just going to brew into shot glasses or small demi cups, or you can go tall, which means you can actually brew into a large cup. Most people will go with a tall, but not for the reason you think. They won't go into a tall because they're going to brew into a large cup. They'll still probably brew into shot glasses. They like the talls because it gives them that additional deck height for working room. And a lot of that comes down to like steam wands. It'll give you more, the steam wand will typically be a little bit longer. It just gives you a lot more room in working and not less being clumsy and hitting things and spilling things. Another feature a machine could have, of course, this is more into the higher end machines, is automatic group rinse. So when you're done brewing a shot, the minute you take the portafilter off, it'll actually purge some water through to rinse out any of the grounds that are stuck to the screen and any coffee residue that's left behind. So you're always starting afresh.
Quick
Sorry.
question.
Sure.
The group rinse, is that something that a barista can just do by themselves? This is just a feature for it to do automatically without the barista's help?
Yes,
Okay.
there's a lot of great things about the automatic group rinse. Is it saves on water because it's pre-programmed how much you're rinsing, and it's automatic, of course. So you're not dependent on the barista trying to remember, although, what happens, people get busy, they forget, just to do a quick rinse, or the worst case scenario, which I see all the time, people will over rinse the group. And even in a multi-boiler system, if you just sit there and run the group with nothing in it, you will tank the temperature. So that's another great reason for the group rinse, or it just comes down to training people. This is what you do on a rinse. You just turn it on for a second, turn it off, and that's it. But yeah, it's more for consistency and automation than anything. Another feature that you would look in, hot water wands. So generally hot water wands, they're drawing directly from the steam boiler, which means that water is boiling hot. So when it hits the air, it kind of spits and spatters. And of course it's boiling hot, which generally you don't want for an Americano. You might want that for a black tea, but you don't want it for a green tea. So some machines they'll have a cold water mix to them. So they're adding some cold water to that so that you get a nice stream. You can also kind of set the temp. There's going to be a little variance on the temperature, but if you want to set it at 190, it'll be around 190. Or if you want it at 200 or 180, you can set that. So some of them are manually set. In other words, you're adjusting a set screw. Other manufacturers have incorporated it's in programming, so it's literally pulsing the cold water coming through. Machines are available in a 3 or a 4 group.
Why would somebody go from a 2 to a 3 group? I know most people don't buy 4 groups, but why would somebody go?
Well, manufacturers, first of all, 4 groups are getting harder and harder to find. So a lot of manufacturers have dropped doing 4 groups, because usually when you're that busy and you need a 4 group, they're going to suggest you buy 2 groups or 2 3 groups, or a 3 group and a 2 group, which a lot of high volume customers, that's what they do, is they have multiple traditional machines. So a reason that you're going to want a 3 or 4 group is productivity, is because you're busy and you need to make more shots. You need more steaming power. So whenever you go to a 3 or 4 group, the heating element size is larger in those machines, so they can handle the volume. Just to kind of give you for instance, we have a customer that had 2 single boiler systems. They had a 4 group on one side and they had a 2 group on the other side. Well, of course, the 4 group, we never ever had issues with, even when it's taxed, with issues with its stability and temperature and brewing. But the 2 group, we always did. They're brewing whenever they were hit hard, and one car after another and making one drink after another. So we ended up going with a 2 group multi-boiler system, and that solved the problem. So those are all things to consider. And it's not so much, how much drinks you know, like you could say, oh, I'm gonna be low volume. I am only gonna serve 200 drinks. But if you serve 150 of those drinks in an hour, you need a high volume machine.
Of these features, have you ever seen people buy a machine and decide not to get one of these features, but then regret it later? I was wondering if there was like a specific one that people think they don't need and then end up regretting it the most.
I would say it would be the hot water. People will buy a machine and don't think about the hot water, and they're like, this thing splatters all over the place and it's so dang hot and I can't use, I always have to add ice to the drink, and that would be the one feature. And you'd be surprised, some high-end machines, they don't have a cold mix for the hot water and they've never incorporated it. That would be one. The maybe a digital display, shot timers would be another one that people have, I wish I got that. Or they got the machine and then they saw it on another, at another place, they saw it and they were like, oh, that's really handy. I wish I had that. So, but it's like everything, you have to look at your budget, because obviously every time you add a feature, there's more cost to that going into the machine.
Thanks for watching. If you have questions or if we can help you hone in on the right espresso machine, feel free to reach out.